Hello everyone, Sinter here. And you know what it's time for? It's time for more Guild Wars 1. I have a quest that was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what's that? Like 87% finished or something? 87.5. Anyway, I wanted to finish that quest and probably do some other things today. That will be determined in the future. But yeah, I want to finish this quest now, and then I want to figure out what I'm doing after that. So it'll probably be a little bit around similar length to last time, honestly. About 2-ish hours or so is kind of what I'm expecting. My dad's wanting help with doing something at some point today, but he was somewhat ambiguous as to timing, so it will just be whenever that is, but I wanted to play some more today, so probably be a little bit before I play again, but having shorter streams makes them easier to fit them in. Honestly, this might sound stupid or silly, but the thing that makes it hardest to want to start streaming is because I want to close Chrome first, so I don't have a browser window open sucking up a bunch of memory. And sort of the process of feeling ready to do that is probably the thing that makes me most reluctant to start streaming. Okay, we got a really simple left to right pattern this time. Excellent. Going down this way. I can't tell you how much I want to hit my mount button. I was just playing Guild Wars 2 for a little bit before this. It's kind of a transition brain time. And really want to hit the mount button. To mount up. Go careening off into the sunset. Desert, you know. It is kind of a lower sun in the next map, right? That kind of works. It's too warm in my room, though. We have central AC in my house, but whoever designed it back in the, like, I don't know, 60s, 70s, whenever it was that was built, did not have... Well, it was built cheaply, but did not have any care about airflow. So rooms get very stagnant very easily if you don't leave doors open. And I tend to feel a desire for privacy, and this is going to knock us down. That tends to cause heat to accumulate in my room. It's not great, but it is what it is. What I've come to realize is that what I ultimately would like, let's get rid of this bleed, is those sort of, I think they're common in Asian countries, but the AC is probably not entirely accurate because I think they're heat pumps, but the HVAC temperature control systems that they have in a lot of Asian countries where it's got a control head in sort of each room, so that way you can customize the effects on each room. That would be real nice. I need to take 3 steps further forward. But unfortunately, that is not what we have. Yeah, you see, it's a little bit more sunsetty. Probably use a screenshot from right here as a thumbnail before. But that is not the setup that we have in terms of the air control. So, alas... It's time to melt. Hey, Gwen. Just a little bit. Just a little melting. Not too much melting. When do you fall over? Statue and Templar armor. Thanks, Gwen, for your input on this matter. You know, this is how my brain works. I was just reflecting on the homestead feature in Guild Wars 2, and I don't know why. That was what was just crossed my mind. But Gwen is really insisting on being like #1 in these screenshots. I know why it was, because I was thinking about taking screenshots in this game, and then I was thinking about it in Guild Wars 2, and then I was thinking about the Guild Wars 2 Twitter account sharing some screenshots that somebody did of their homestead, of trying to build a house for... It doesn't matter. The point is some screenshots from Guild Wars 2, and that made me think about the homesteading feature, which made me think about the challenges that I have using a sort of system like that, where you position things in a very freeform sort of way. And then that openness causes me problems, because I don't quite know... I don't have a sense of goals, and how I like a more on-grid system. Dunkoro, why are you utterly failing at keeping us as alive as I feel like you ought to be doing? You're not even out of energy. You're just not doing it, the thing. I mean, Milani could be pulling a little bit more weight, I suppose, but... Okay, I'm going to wait for some of these numbers to recover. But anyway, I really liked... Still do. The Dragon Quest Builders games, 1 and 2. I'd like a third one. But I like how those games do a Minecraft sort of build, but with a lot of purpose and a lot of kind of intent and direction behind it. Something like that works a lot better for me than, I don't know, here's a bunch of tools, go make something. And I'm like, but what? It's like, I don't know, whatever. Like, I don't need a whatever. I need a sense of purpose and meaning to this. I don't know. Some insight into who I am, I suppose. Kind of want to play my Elementalist. I'm looking over at Vec and being like, I'd like an elite skill for this boy. I'd like an elite skill for Acolyte Jin as well, but she feels okay where she's at in terms of that bar. Is it better to go... It's going around a lot either way. Let's just go around this way. Anyway. It's neither here nor there, I suppose. Just things I'm thinking about. I mean, the thing that I want most in there is to be able to build more statues, but they either don't have a huge selection or I don't have a huge selection unlocked. So either way, I don't have many to work with. I don't know. I need to examine... I kind of feel like I need to pay more attention to what Dunkoro is doing, skill-wise. Because I feel like he's not monkeying very well. And I can't tell him to use his bar better. I mean, I can manually try to, but then I'm playing him instead of myself, and that doesn't work too well. So I kind of feel like I need to figure out how he's using his skills such that I can make him do it better. I like that the statue still is here in Guild Wars 2. Okay, now I can go see the festival coordinator for my reward. Excellent. It's going to be faster if I just do this. I also need to go see First Watch Sergio. Tell him about Galrath. Matthew Medina is one of the devs. They have a lot of their own names in the game. You can find a lot of references to various people. So some names come up more often than others, but it's kind of interesting. May finally sleep easy, knowing Galrath will never return to do them harm again. I mean, did he want to do them harm in the first place? Ooh, this is a good skill. I'm not buying more skills on this character right now because my funds are really low and I need that for armor. Or for surprise trips into mineral springs, I suppose, if we're getting right down to it. I should look up tormented weapons for no particular reason. I can see the look on your face that your latest journey has been a success. The memories of your travels will go with you as you continue forward. In addition, here's a token to remember this festival. Thank you. Gallery will work. Yeah, probably. Well, regardless, I can go get the thing, right? Go to Embark Beach. I think you just need to show her one. Where am I? Where am I? What is this? Where am I? Okay, I'm over here. That was very confusing for a moment there. Yeah, like there's Robert G. Okay, well, that's the thing that I really wanted to make sure I accomplished. That's one of the versions. Yes. Have you heard of the Wayfarer's Reverie? It is a festival celebrated across the world in honor of our travels in life. Take a moment to remember the adventures that have brought you here and imagine the ones you will experience in the years to come. There are countless paths in life, innumerable places to see, thousands of memories that you have gained, both good and bad. Take this chance to remember all of these. You yourself have traveled far, even to reach this beach. I wonder, though, if you really consider yourself a Wayfarer in Tyria. This festival is an excellent time to forge new paths or retread old ones. Bring me proof that you have journeyed across 4 regions of Tyria, and I will give you a reward worthy of the many roads you've walked. This does show you traversal of some lands, but confirm your adventuring skill. I need to see 4 such tokens. Okay, so I can't get that until I've done all 4, so I probably won't be able to get that this year. The simple fact of the matter is that it would take a good bit of concentrated playing that I'm just not going to be doing in order to be able to get all of these taken care of. Yeah, because I can do the Shrine of Mott and Haiju Lagoon, Botanica Temple in the Pui Quarter, Arborstones, Central Chamber. Like, I'm nowhere near doing all of those. Yeah, nowhere near doing all of those. Nowhere near doing all of these. So that's all we're going to be doing for the Wayfarer's Reverie. I'm afraid to say, just from a practicality standpoint, it's just not happening any more than that. Ooh, it's actually really good. Yes, I will take the Furious Sword. That is a max Furious. I will probably be using that later. Right now, I'm going to hang on to it here. The rest of this does not matter much to me, though. Okay. What do I do with Wayfarer's marks? There's got to be a place I can turn those in. Wayfarer's mark. Okay, yeah, in the main areas, I can trade them in for things like sparklers and sugary drinks and hunter's ales and the like. I don't care about any of those things, so I'm just gonna stick this over here, and I'm just gonna stick this over here. Deposit this money And you know what? I've been talking about it. Let's go spend some time on my Ellie. Because I have been wanting to do more on her. Okay, she's got a bunch of not much going on, but that's okay. I need to go talk to Shalov. Cool, let's go do that. Stone elementals, you say? It's not a great way to get to this guy. It's kind of weird crisscrossing paths, sort of regardless of which way you go. This is more useful against the Char than anything else. I'll activate it anyway. Yeah, because getting access to, like, Thundershot or Thunderclap would be really nice, for example. I don't have the energy storage to make this give it an energy refund. It's just a bit of healing right now. I don't think that actually connects super well over there. Yeah, I have to kind of go down and then back up. At least I'll do a great job against the friggin' plants. Pants you have to be sewn into is what these are. Doesn't mean they don't look good, though. Why do I even have friggin' no air magic lightning javelin on my bar? I really need to get further. Yeah, there's a crown of thorns. They are very weak to fire. Yeah. See, at level 8, that means I'm rocking 24. So to be dealing... Hey, Dead on Stick. Good to see you. How are you doing? Let's see. So I'm doing a little bit over double damage. So they probably have negative, like, 30 to 40 armor, somewhere around there, against fire. It's very low. Be taking that much damage from it. Okay, Shalov. Give me some skills that I don't want to use right now. Thanks for the fire unguent. Yes. Eruption unlocked. Excellent. Shard Storm. Also unlocked. Excellent. Do I use this skill? Like, never, but I'm glad to have it. It's part of unlocking all skills. That is my goal. It's been in the thing for ages. Okay. Do I want to just go and do Fort Rannoch? Yes. That seems reasonable. Yeah, Eruption is both. It is strong and very energy hungry. I need to visit a merchant. Graham. Please take these things I do not need. Goodbye. And make sure you grab the one quest in a mission that's over here. They're fighting a Moa bird. Interesting. Also here they're specifically called Moa birds, as opposed to just Moas. There's no reason to reactivate the mantra until I have confirmed a use for it. Okay, I need to make sure Master Armin Saberlin does not die if I want to be able to do the bonus. Okay, we got some more char over here. This is one of those quests where the hardest part is definitely getting to the quest giver rather than it getting the reward. I see you over there. I don't think I don't. Okay, we're just gonna clear out this group of char, I guess. That is what we're doing now. Man, the recharges on Lava Fawn are so fast. Wow. That's an almost dead Master Armin Saberlin. Not liking the fact that he was almost dead, liking the fact that he didn't die. Okay, Blanston. It might be. I mean, I have 8 fire magic, so if you got up, it gets very high. And you can 4-second recharge, you can spam it. I have a small army following me. Okay. I've got some more. Where is Armin Saberlin? I wanted. Okay, he's fully healed now. Good. Got the quest. Deliver a message to my wife. Excellent. That's what we would like to see. Claw Featherstorm. Yeah. Well, total damage and DPS are 2 different things, right? Okay, tell me about your son. Thank you. You hold the wall. Yeah. Chaos Storm also is not bad, just because of its armor ignoring nature. Get back here, Charstalker. I don't think you're gonna run from me. More Wayfarer's marks. Whatever I'm going to do with those. Probably look up what I need on my main account and do stuff based on that. I finished one of them. I think it was Party Animal. Well, I will just not lava font there. Yes, shoot me with your ignite arrows. It does no damage and restores energy. Oh man, look how much energy I'm getting back from all this ignite arrows nonsense. Brilliant. It was overcast, so that could have hit both, but here we are. I don't have the ability to get overcast yet. Pretty sure I don't have any skills that cause it. So nice coming through here on a character that has ranged spells, though, and isn't just stuck trying to hit things with a sword or an axe or something. So I can actually take care of the guys on cliffs. Wild glow, you say? Joke's on you. I'm pretty sure this character has Core Winds armor. Yeah. 30 armor level is pretty high for what they kind of have things calibrated for this area. Man, it is so nice being able to clear those guys out. Yeah. I mean, you technically can get to them, but it's not what we would call trivial. More Moa birds fighting things. I was like, how do I have 250 HP? And then I saw my 4% morale boost. I guess the charm managed to beat a Moa bird at least. Would have been rather sad if they couldn't, but... I find it weird that those guys have Wild Blow. I mean, it's an auto crit, but I usually just use it for the stance break functionality, so... Haha, I wanted him for 3. Give me my 1,000 experience points. Thank you. He will chat for a bit, and then I will get my 1,000 experience points. There we go. There's my 1,000 experience points. Interesting what things they gave specific icons to. No, I mean, not for ignite arrows, but it's kind of there for firestorms and stuff too. There's a lot of enemies and prophecies in general, but early prophecies in particular that deal fire damage, so might as well, was my thinking. Well, I'm thinking my past self was thinking. But it definitely works nicely on ignite arrows, that's for sure. Deal me 2 damage and give me 2 energy. Take that trade. Of course, technically it does need to return enough energy to be worth the 10 that I invested in the first place, but we'll ignore that detail. Yeah. I have 3. But I'm also bringing Ether Feast, so... Does it affect all stances? I definitely think the armor granting ones that are like plus 40 armor against physical or elemental damage and minus a bit against the others are underrated. In terms of like damage mitigation. The elemental damage reducing one I think is better. For whatever that's worth. Sure. There's just a lot of damage mitigation, so... that makes sense. Yeah, it makes you take a lot less to have that much armor.
Damn char snuck up while I was repairing this trebuchet. It's missing a release lever, a restraining bolt, and an arming crank. Search the other wrecked trebuchets to find those 3 pieces and bring them to me. If you do, I can fix this little lovely and we'll give those Jar a taste of their own filth. To activate the trebuchet after it's fixed, pull the lever once to load it.
Okay, that's enough listening to that guy talk. Yeah, E-Surge is definitely too strong. I don't know. I feel like if damage is going to ignore armor, there needs to be, like, it can only be so good, you know what I mean? And like, you should be able to get better damage out of stuff that doesn't ignore armor. I don't know. That's basically what I guess my thesis is. So I don't know what I'd do with something like E-Surge or Energy Burn. I'd probably make him do fire damage, though. Or at least that feels like a reasonable option. Because fire damage would be in line with especially like Energy Burn. Yeah. Heavy armor counters raw damage. Armor ignoring damage counters heavy armor. Heavy raw damage counters heavy armor ignoring damage. Yeah, I think one of the things that would help is to emphasize things like degeneration effects as well. Because that's a form of armor ignoring damage. So if you're going to be doing armor ignoring damage, have it be damage over time like that, right? That's why it annoys me so much that the destroyers have like they have a bunch of armor, but then they also have that skill that doesn't, it's not even health regeneration, it just gives them like 25 HP every second or something. But yeah. I mean, another way of approaching it is to have enemies with very little armor, or like negative armor sort of thing, where they take a lot of damage from raw damage sources, but they have huge health pools, right? Because that armor ignoring damage, like having some enemies that are like that, because those sorts of enemies are good against armor ignoring damage, that reduce the amount of so basically, like, low HP, high armor targets are weak against armor ignoring damage, but good against armor respecting damage. And doing the opposite, high HP, low armor targets are good against the other sort of thing. So like, there's different ways of approaching that sort of thing. Yeah, it's true. Prot Spirit is super strong when you have low HP. But that's where stuff like Blood Magic can get through that sort of thing. As a bit of a counter strategy. But yeah, it's more a matter of how are you designing enemies at that point rather than straight up PvP design. Although that needs to factor into it. PvP balance and PvE balance are two different things, though. I think a lot of the, especially earlier on, but I think in general, a lot of the Guild Wars 1 balance works a lot better in PvP than it does in PvE. Or at least generally has tended to. Where players can specifically counter strategies that you see going on, but also the pace of the game is very different between PvP and PvE. PvP encounters tend to be longer and more drawn out, which gives time for slower effects to have more of an impact. where and like pressure strategies are kind of a thing and stuff like that. So there's other ways of countering turtling in PvP, but PvE enemies are the design is static, and so things just function very differently there. I need to go closer to kind of draw guys out. I think PvE enemy design in this game is an area where things tends to be a bit weaker. At times, anyway. And doing stuff like having high HP, low armor enemies would do a lot to help with some of that. Yeah, so when I say PvE enemy design, I mean things like what are enemy skill bars and stat spreads and stuff like that. Right, that has, and like what are their composition. Oh my goodness, dudes are being dumb. I mean, it probably is better than other MMOs, but it doesn't mean it couldn't be better in and of itself, right? Like it doesn't matter how good you are. Like being better than your competition is great, but let me get down there. I'm getting stuck on terrain. So, do I think Guild Wars has better enemy design than a lot of games? Yeah, I think there's a strong argument to be made for that. Do I think it could still be better? Yes. And I think PvP encounters are playing to the game's strengths a lot better. But the thing is, I don't think you want PvE encounters that are like PvP encounters, because I don't think you want every PvE encounter to last. I'm glad we were able to take out all those char. To last like 2 or 3 minutes. Which is kind of where you'd need things to be, I think. Maybe even longer. And it's just like that just doesn't work for pacing. Yeah, that's true. Like your encounters can definitely be shorter in PvP depending upon how things are kind of coming together. Oh, my good and excellent friends, or whatever he says, I don't care. But that's the thing, is different PvP formats do function differently. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for telling me about customization game. This feels like a bit of a weird spot to do it, but sure. Okay. I want to aggressively salvage things down. For parts, this feels absolutely inefficient as all get out. Okay, I'm not sure that was worth it. There's the June line. But it's just one of those things that's tricky of like, okay, how do you design the enemy loadouts and how do you have scaling difficulty? Like, I think the thing is, like, for hard mode, I would want to change up skill bar and like compositional things first more than just giving the enemies raw stats to be stronger. Like, ideally, hard mode would be revamped skill bars and smarter AI. But that's not entirely what it is. There's some amount of skill bar reworkings they do, but they tend to be fairly minimal. But yeah, I mean, they definitely have. Yeah. Yes, the permanent increased attack speed and increased move speed do really break balance. And the thing is, like, you can set up things to be strong enough in the game where you can deal with the silly stuff that hard mode throws at you. But it's like you're mitigated to specific strategies at times because of that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but what you ideally want, what I would ideally want, is to have different strategies be good against different sorts of enemies. Yeah, that's basically it. HM is meant to be cheesed. It is intentionally unfair such that you have to be intentionally unfair. I still don't get why they didn't just put vampiric gaze enemies in places where they wanted to deal with 55ing. Because that's just such a good counter to 55. Oh, I stole all of your HP and you're dead. It's like they did kind of start building around stuff, and there's just a bunch of enchant removal, and then that has its own problems. The equipment costs money and or is too hard to acquire. Yeah, yeah, in the sense of, yeah, it screams customize your build to deal with the challenge ahead, and then it makes it, like, runing out to be able to do that is, and getting the weapons that you need and stuff. It is... I think like a weapon mod trader would absolutely do a lot to help with that problem. I would ideally like to be able to buy weapon mods in some way, probably for like copperization coins. I don't think they should be super expensive. But yeah. Well, and like, I don't know. Part of the problem that you run into is, a question of how are you kind of structuring your game? Like, should there be... this is going to be a pain in the butt, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of stuff with the PvP equipment thing. That's the thing, right? Is like PvP equipment, like they want you to have stuff to build towards in PvE, but then like, I don't know, at some point in time you end up with the legendary system from Guild Wars 2. Where it's like, okay, you want easy flexibility, get legends, and you just have to grind forever to sink all of the resource cost into that. Like that's basically like that, or you have to go to a like, do we need player rewards, or how are we handling player rewards, and how are we handling player advancing through the game and things like that. I don't know, there's a lot of interesting questions there. In terms of like, what does it mean for the player to increase in power? Do they need to increase in power? Is it just player skill that we care about and not character power level? Because like, character power level is a huge factor in a lot of RPG type games, right? That's kind of what RPGs are around. They're as opposed to an adventure game like The Legend of Zelda. You do have Link increasing in power by finding better swords and other things. So there's RPG elements like that, but there's not levels per se. I don't know, what's an even better example? I don't know, RPG elements. Wow, there's a ton of Devourers over here. What the heck is up with this? Okay, well, that firestorm cleared them out really nicely. It's nice to not be worried about blocking. But, like, there's something to be said for some sort of, like, ideal of maybe the RPG mechanics. The main thing that the RPG mechanics do, I'm going to have to walk there and then back again, is they're abstracting the idea of your character getting more effective rather than your player getting more effective. So, everything will be all right. Okay, let's get you back there. So I feel like there's ways of, and like to some extent, like a game like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, those games that From Software does. Part of the idea is that player skill can compensate for character weakness. So that's where you get people doing challenge runs and level 1 runs and things like that, because as a player, you can get good enough at playing the game that you can compensate for your character being weak. But like, what if you're designing your game around, like there's still build craft, but you don't get levels, you don't get more powerful in that sort of raw sense. Maybe you get more options, like you do. Like that's one of the things that's great about Guild Wars 1 is you get more options. But what if it wasn't just raw power level, right? And then it's down to you understanding the game systems and being able to execute on them well. Right, and that's a different genre. RPGs kind of bother me in the sense that I feel like levels are often not handled in any sort of they're a purely mechanical thing, and largely they function as a way of making the game easier because you can grind to get higher level. Armored Core 6. Yeah, I haven't played that one. At this point, it's kind of on my like radar to check out at some point, but my understanding is that builds are pretty important in that game and that you can kind of change it around. I don't know, but like, there's something that fundamentally bothers me about you're playing an RPG and it's like, oh, you are supposed to be, yeah, that makes sense. You're supposed to be some powerful character, and then you walk into a town that's late game, and all of the NPCs are higher level than you, and it's just like, why are you guys not running around like absolutely curb stomping everything in these weaker low level areas? Well, these levels don't mean anything, right? They're just there for mechanical gameplay reasons, not for any storytelling reasons, and that's something that bothers me in a lot of RPGs. Okay, get in there. Yeah, I think the area, like, I think it happens some in Guild Wars 2 as well. Guild Wars 2 is really weird about levels in that they like do and don't matter at the same time. But I've watched a Final Fantasy 14 Let's Play, and it has that problem a lot. Where it's like, oh, this is a random town, everybody's just higher level just because that's the level that this zone is, right? And it's not for any narrative sense. After that, after world-ending threat, we just went to Pandaria and got curb stomped by random boars. Yeah, see, and that's the thing, is when levels are just applied in no sort of, like, without thought to what those levels actually mean. Yeah, Guild Wars 2 has levels for inadequate reason. I mean, they sort of work for pacing for new players, but it's functionally most of the game is for max level characters anyway, and I appreciate the resolve in not adding more levels and instead going with a mastery system. I think that is a way to try to address that sort of thing of giving you some sort of progression to work towards by doing random stuff. So I like that that concept as a way to try to address, because players will otherwise demand increased level cap for no freaking reason that doesn't do anything useful. But the fact that they scale you down in areas, I mean, it has its limits to how much it scales you down by in some regards, where having like high level stuff means that you're getting like capped, but it's still more powerful than a character at that level would probably be, just from an equipment standpoint and stuff. And you're being capped at sort of the high point or whatever. But in many regards, like, levels don't mean anything in Guild Wars 2 because of the level scaling system. It's just like, okay, I have to get levels for... That kind of doesn't do anything. Yeah, and the thing is, I don't think that's a bad impulse. I think that's the correct impulse, right? The question that you should then be asking is, should we have levels and stats that are tied to them? So, like, I think the system is mechanically a really good idea, but it also underlines the sort of pointlessness of levels in the first place. Which is, if you don't want people to out-level content, just don't make levels. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. I think the Guild Wars 2 crafting system is extremely overwrought anyway. I can just walk in there, right? Yeah. Yeah, the crafting system is just an absolute friggin' mess in Guild Wars 2. All the different tiers, and then because of the way that things are set up, Mithril is like the most common metal in the world practically, which feels really wrong. I don't want Phantom Pain, but I absolutely want Fireball. Thank you. I mean, Phantom Pain is a great skill to have unlocked, but I'll grab a couple more points of energy storage. I can understand that. I've been playing it a lot lately. I've been having fun with it, thankfully, but I've been starting to begin to wrap my head around Buildcraft. Oh, yeah, that will absolutely happen. Too many consumables and stuff. But the Buildcraft in Guild Wars 2 is way more complicated than in Guild Wars 1. Which, it feels ironic to me, because my understanding is one of their goals was to simplify Buildcraft. Oh man, look at that AoE, finally. Because like in Guild Wars 1, like you do have a lot of parts to your builds, but most of it is your attributes, your skill bar, and then your insignias and runes and your weapons, right? In like that's still kind of a lot of parts, but it's kind of just focused. Yeah, I mean, that's the downside of the mastery system, right? Is you need to grind for unlocking them to be able to get access to stuff, but then once you do, you have it for your entire account, so it's at least not per character. But the Guild Wars 2 builds, oh man, I don't have to worry about blind either. What glorious day is this? Been playing my warrior a lot lately. Alicia, stop running around and let me AoE these guys. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the build system. So the Guild Wars 2 build system, you have to worry about your all of your equipment slots. Yeah, I know. You have so many equipment slots. You have all of your armor and their runes and the armor's stat loadout, plus the stat loadout on all of your accessories, which exist for no flippin' reason, and then your relic now, because I added relics, and then you have all of your traits, and you have to worry about what weapons you're using, and it's just there's all of these stats to be micromanaging and figuring out, okay, well, how do I want to distribute my attributes with what pieces of equipment in which ways, and there's just so many like little fiddly components to all of everything with a build. And then like I go in and I'm playing a character and I'm like, okay, so my traits have modified this skill to work in this way, but if I switch to a different character, the skill works like without that benefit or whatever. And it's just like keeping track of everything gets really complicated. So like they're like, oh, the Guild Wars 1 build system was too complex, and then they go and make one that's even more complicated and fiddly. And it's just like, what are you on? And I think there's a lot of good core ideas, but it's just like it's actually very similar to I need to look to see what those quests actually want me to do. I think there's a lot of core good ideas, but all of the stat fiddling and like everything and keeping track of what does what is just so complicated. Yeah, I believe that too. The build system actually reminds me a lot of the build system in Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Okay, I need to go kill a specific enemy, and I need to kill 10 hulking stone elementals. 0 of 10 hulking... Okay, this is redundant quest dialogue, but whatever. Yeah. I don't know. It's so easy to kind of walk into making something too complicated anyway, but it's just like remembering what all of my things do when I swap characters can be kind of overwhelming, actually. It's just there's just way too much to keep track of. And like I get into this game and I have 8 skills, not 10. And I know, and they don't swap to other skills. And I can't swap half of my skill bar to another set of skills. Like, there's so many skills that you have on a build in Guild Wars 2. And that's before you're trading them to function differently. And having to remember all of these different mechanics. And it's just... Guild Wars 1 is way, way simpler. It's just there. And all you really are caring about is how powerful are your skills. And it's much easier to remember what your specific skills do, because it's not like... You're not dealing with like 15 plus skills per build. You're dealing with 8. And they're all static and all fairly simple for the most part. So yeah, Guild Wars 2, Buildcraft and everything, it can be fun, but it also gets really complex to keep track of. And it's like, yeah, it just gets very complex. Okay. More hulking stone elementals. I definitely need to... Okay, I've gotten 5. Oh, there's a bunch more over here, so it'll be no problem to finish this up. Anyway. It just feels super ironic to me that they're like, Guild Wars 1 is too complicated, and then they go and make something even more complicated. Well, I found Gren. Mind Venom. It's over there. Here, have a fireball. Storm Rider tissue sample. Oh, is that what I was getting? Okay. Obviously paying so much attention here. Let's see. Have you been studying the local flora and fauna? I find the Storm Riders in particular to be quite fascinating. No, not the chest. The stuff over here. It seems they exhibit powers and abilities not dissimilar to those a Mesmer might use. I have studied a few of the smaller species, but I believe the tissue samples might be put to some beneficial use. I'd like to take a sample of a particularly large subject called Gren Mind Venom, which I have seen near large crystals on Pockmark Flats. Okay. And I've gotten enough of these. Kendrick Red Staff. Yeah, but he's not fire magic. At level 9, I don't know if I'm way over leveled. I'm definitely somewhat over leveled. Okay. I don't know. This is like if you're doing things somewhat thoroughly in pre-steering, you'll be kind of over leveled in general. It's not like killing elementals is a trying task. Hence to the scorched glow sounds you found, and you need 3 of them to summon the. Iridine. I think I should have some in the bank if I need more. Excellent. Now that we have this tissue, I can begin my experiments immediately. If things work as I have theorized, then I believe I can concoct an elixir that will help repair those whose minds have been damaged by severe mental trauma. Thank you for diversion. My elixir experiment has progressed rapidly beyond expectations, and I believe it is ready for a field test. In Sarlacc Sanitarium, there's a poor man named Fadden Hawthorne who was a bit addled by the events of the searing. He is suffering from a condition that causes him to see giant sentient devour eggs attacking him. It's quite fascinating, actually. I believe my elixir can help him regain his sanity, if not cure him outright. Would you be so kind... Wait, what's the difference? Would you be so kind as to give him my elixir and report your findings to my colleague Vassar? I would be happy to. Okay, I need one more Scorched Lodestone. I should have plenty here. And I'll be getting Earth Attunement, which is a lovely skill to have for my Earth magic that is too shallow right now to really want to make use of. I don't know why they don't give you Fire Attunement earlier on, but it really is utterly perplexing. No, not that one. Geomancer's Test. Okay. They used to have 2-second activation times. Yeah. I'd forgotten about it until recently when or not recently, but until I was looking stuff up at one point and saw that change had happened. I mean, I would have played with them at that point. They definitely have gotten better. I still think ArenaNet is bad at designing elementalists, but I will say I really like Elementalist Spear. Spear is my favorite elementalist weapon now in Guild Wars 2 because I don't dislike any of the elements. But it still is really awkward to be like, oh, you're making 2 of your elements better and not the other 2 a lot of the time. I'm like, this is maybe not the ideal way to design this, but... Because it's kind of like, it encourages you to play one element and then... Yeah, I don't like the design of the Elementalist being around attunements and stuff. I think it's... I get... You know what? You know what? I should just follow the quest markers. That way I'm by the spawn for sure when it happens. Area is a bit awkward to navigate because it's a big open area, but there's a lot of fissures. Yeah, that's the problem. Is Elementalist is super vulnerable to enchantment removal from an energy management standpoint. Plus, they're eating up slots of your skill bar. Not that I want energy to attunement to be yet another discount mechanic, but it would be nice if it was energy regeneration. It'd also be cool if it could increase the energy regeneration cap. But yeah, they started throwing like strip enchantment and chillblains all over the friggin' place. Now it wants me to go to that other one. Okay, well, that's fine. And I feel like that was done to counter like protection prayers mostly, like monks making characters super tanky, but it also just like completely nerfed any build that relies on enchantments. And then it would be less bad if they would stop putting the double removers on and stuff, but or if they like isolated it to more areas. Yeah, there's not anything you do about chillblains. It's just, it's a huge area of effect. It strips 2 enchantments per. It's just like, we heard you're playing with enchantments. Yeah, because it removes 2. And then you fight enemies where it's like, oh yeah, there's like 3 enemies in this group that all have chillblains. All of your enchantments belong to us. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna get out of here with more scorched lodestones than I went in here with. Oh my goodness. Flare missing because Alicia is running start and stop style and then it causes the enemies to dodge. Very awkward. But yeah, that's one of the things, like, enemies don't care if they spend their entire energy pool to strip your entire party of enchantments, so... More enemies where the team compositions aren't just like, oh, we have 3 of the same enemy in here would also be nice. There's a stone golem I need to kill. Level 11 stone golem. It's gonna run it all over the place, isn't it? Well, yep, there it is, chasing Alicia again, like normal. It's funny to me how Flare in this game is like a weak fire spell, where in like Final Fantasy series it's like one of the strongest. Okay, where's Kendrick? I spawned at the very back end of Serenity Temple, apparently. There's Kendrick. I remember standing here once when we got Favor and seeing the statue of Dwayna pop up. It's there's a clip of it on my YouTube channel, actually. It's very dramatic. Yes, I managed to take down the golem. Magnetic aura and earth attunement. Oh man, it's good to get those unlocked. Okay. Let's go shatter some hexes. Sarlacc Sanitarium. No, Vassars who I report to. Fade and Hawthorne. The eggs are coming for me. Please make them go away. You see them, don't you? Drink this. If you promise it'll make them go away, then I will... Who... How did I get here? Where am I? This looks like Ashford Abbey, but what in the name of Dwayne has happened? I feel as if I've wakened from a long nightmare. Huzzah. So, Uridine's elixir worked. This is wonderful news. We can begin helping some of the poor souls who have been guests here since the searing. I am continually amazed at your resourcefulness. Shatter Hex. Thank you. Seems I have that unlocked already. Probably got it off of like Gwen or something, but it's still a good skill to have access to. Yeah. I pulled the 11 scorched lodestone, like 8 scorched lodestones out of there. I basically got the same number that I spent. Okay, I'm just gonna merch this stuff. It's not worth spending salvage kit charges on. It's utter trash. Hello, Venzel. I feel like that's the name that I remember being in Regent Valley. Okay. Yes. He's in Pockmark Flats. So I could go south from Serenity Temple and go find him. Might as well. Why does it keep putting me at the very back of this? Oh well. What do I know about how the algorithm chooses where to put you? Nothing. That's what. It's always funny looking at these banners because sometimes you find stuff that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Warrior, Ranger, Elementalist, and Monk. Oh, well, that is the henchies that are here. We got a Monk, we got an Elementalist, we got a Warrior, and we got a Ranger. So, banner doesn't lie. Don't know why somebody in that looked like Blackfish of Woe armor is hanging out here, but sure, why not? Yeah, he's down there. I don't know why that thing is angling me. Oh, yeah, because I'm walking around. I just don't feel like going through that area again, so... Going through the side path. There's the back of Fort Rannoch. It's pretty neat to see. There's another little mini crystal here. It's kind of neat. Don't come here very often at all. I've been wanting to kind of vanquish these zones again. Just something about Ascalon. There's a lot of little corners to it that I just don't go to. So vanquishing is kind of special in that regard. So many friggin' hulking stone elementals. Okay, get in here. Actually, you know what? Ugh, I would run past these guys, but they're gonna hold up the henchmen. And I know it. And it's gonna be obnoxious. Best deal with the problem now. Oh, got 25 gold over there. Ascalonian key. It's weird to me that the hulking stone elementals are smaller and lower level than just the stone elemental I was just fighting over there. I don't know how they got their name hulking. I don't know who looked at that and said, yeah, that one's hulking. Thanks for your contribution, Orion. Okay. I like these ruins over here. The weird blueness. I leveled up. And I gave myself my attribute points. That's right. I remember now. I'm ignoring the Wind Riders. They are not really posing much in the way of a threat. I am getting very hungry. That is okay. Okay, Footman Quinn. Well, that quest is resolved. Let's see. Yeah. Let's go turn that in. Mirak over here annoys me. His dialogue doesn't make any sense. He's just using standard street preacher type jargon, and it's... I think ArenaNet today would do a better job, but it was definitely a sort of thing where it just does not make any sense in the context of the game. Felt like a Doomsday Street Preacher as well. This may be semi-reasonable later on. Not very much later on. Little old Ascalon. Ilka Blanston. I have terrible news. I mean, great news. He's doing fine. Yeah. Okay, I've given you good news. I have seen Gurn. Okay. I really don't feel like doing Ruins of Sirmia right now on this character, if I'm being honest. But I do feel like getting up to Ruins of Sirmia. So we will do that. Do I have the courthouse? No, that'd be a long walk. I don't feel like making that hike either. Do I have the Cities of Ascalon quest? I need to go pick up quests. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, I'm ignoring Grawl. I don't feel like fighting Grawl. I don't get any experience from them anyway. Henchmen can go get themselves killed on Grawl. I don't really care. I feel like that theater over there would be pretty cool back in the day. So many Grawl along here. Alright, Myken. Give me my experience points. Thank you. Okay, Ascalon City. I need to go grab some stuff from you. Up this way. Weird. Truncheon. Truncheons don't... This is usually a different name. Truncheons are usually the more stick-like. That was extremely descriptive, I know. But okay. Simon. The scribe. I will take care of it. I would like that Grimcesta. That is all. I really want... I know we've had some stuff with the gods in Guild Wars 2, but I would really like more. I don't know if they're going to or not. Am I planning on doing all quests? No, I'm picking up specific ones. Probably a bunch of these will just languish, but this one, the Grimcesta, is the minus 50 HP one, and I want to do the skill quests because they give skills that are good to have access to. Okay. I feel like I've advanced stuff. I've progressed. I think I'm going to actually just have a short little stream here. Wrap up here. About 90 minutes. A little less. But, kind of... feel like I've kind of accomplished what I want to do, and I'm getting hungry enough that I don't feel like trying to concentrate anymore. So, I do thank you. Dead on Stick, it was great to have you hanging out. I appreciated it. Anyone else who's lurking, you always appreciate it as well. But until next time, everyone, take care, and goodbye.